I'm gonna give people a few more minutes to show up and then we can get started. All right, looks like people are starting to come in now, so I guess we can go ahead and get started. So, welcome everyone that's here to my panel. If you want to look like a girl, this presentation is for you. We're going to cover mostly simple stuff with a pretty broad scope, along with a couple of specific trips and tricks that can help people that want to look more feminine. So, first, a bit about me. I'm a cosplayer and a fighting game player. I have a lot of experience with makeup through cosplay and drag. I've been doing both for like about 3-4 years. I also make YouTube videos on my cosplay stuff, and you can find the link to that channel in the section of Twitch with all the socials. I made this presentation because I know that makeup is like a really daunting thing for a lot of people, especially getting started on it later in life. I started when I was 18, and looking back on it is like there was so much I didn't know, and I didn't really know where to start at all. So I kind of fumbled my way through it at the beginning, at least. So hopefully this will give you a good idea of what you need and the direction you want to take with it. So yeah, just some other reminders. You don't need to do any of this. Your body, your face, they're yours, and you can do whatever you want with them. This presentation is to enable you to take extra steps towards how you want to present, and you don't need to go beyond what's comfortable for you. So makeup can get really expensive. Do not break the bank. Spend responsibly, etc., etc., and don't compare yourself to others. Everyone learns at their own pace, and especially on the internet, everyone uses like image editing. The photos in this presentation are raws just to show how makeup actually looks, but even like all of my like pictures I post on socials, they're all edited because it's just what people do. So don't compare yourself to anyone else in your progress. Learn at your own pace. Have fun with it. So before we get into all of the like foundation, contours, highlighter, all that kinds of like actual makeup stuff, a good skincare routine is really essential if you plan to regularly do makeup. Especially if you have high levels of testosterone, that'll make you really prone to breakouts when wearing it. A full face of makeup just really puts a burden on your skin, so taking good care of it is super important. Generally, you want a cleaner, a moisturizer, and probably an exfoliator. Hey, welcome. I used to use an exfoliator, but the brand discontinued it, and I've kind of stopped, but I haven't had any problems since. So for moisturizer and cleaner, you can find a lot of them at like Ulta, Target, etc. Anywhere where you would find like cheap makeup, or just makeup in general, I guess. The most important part of skincare. Okay, let me turn on my mic then if I'm kind of quiet. Hopefully this is better. So yeah, like I was saying, you can get this stuff at anywhere you could find makeup. So like Target, Ulta, CVS, whatever. The most important part for picking a skincare product is matching it to your skin. So the two main types are like oily skin and dry skin. So you can see on like some of these, it'll say like some of these will say for like what I have a bottle like this that says it's for dry skin or oily skin. But what's also common is having combination skin, where parts of your skin are dry and parts of your skin are oily. So that's what I have, and for that, getting cleaner, moisturizer, and exfoliator is ideal. If you feel like your skin is kind of pulling on you after like it's kind of feels like pulley, like it's stretched out after you wash your face, that probably means you need moisturizer. But if you use too much moisturizer, your skin will get mad at you and then you'll break out. So you kind of just have to trial and error your way through it for the most part. It's pretty fuzzy, so you don't really know off the bat what you need to do. There's also sensitive skin, which is something that you can have in addition to any of those other skin types. It basically just means you're allergic to a lot of the things that are in these types of products and makeup. So for that, you're going to want to take extra care and look for labels that say non-irritating or non-sensitizing when you pick out skincare. If this happens to be you, you should test products on your shoulder or forearm before you use them. And if you're like having a really difficult time with it and you have decent health insurance, you could try going to a dermatologist, and they would probably be able to tell you what specifically you're allergic to. Personally, I use this La Roche-Posay stuff. It's on the right, and I love it. So I got like a bunch of them 6 months ago. It's pretty expensive, but there was a sale, and I'm still working off that supply now. So I'm happy with it. But even though it's pretty expensive, I find it's what works for me as long as I like manage using it so as not to burn through it too quickly. Anyway, that's a lot about skincare, so let's move on. So, facial hair removal. So razors are the easiest ones. You can see the two on the right. These are from before when I just used an electric razor, and I picked pictures in particular where that kind of stands out, so you can see stubble on both of these ones on the right. And this was after I used a or just like a traditional razor. So you can definitely see the difference. If you're really trying to, like, I don't like to use the word, but pass, you should probably use a traditional razor. You can also, there is also epilators. Epilators are like razors, electric razors, but they kind of pluck out the hair, instead of, like, cutting it. So this has benefits and drawbacks. For one, it hurts a lot, and especially since you have a lot of nerves in your face, it's not great. It's not really viable to epilate an entire beard away. You gotta have to work on it a little bit at a time. It's better for just removing smaller pieces of hair, like smaller sections of hair. If you've already gone in on Eve for a while, for example, and you don't have that much hair, epilators can work well for that. Because when you use an epilator, it takes much longer time to grow back, and you don't have, like, aftershave. You don't have that 5 o'clock shadow. But they can also lead to ingrown hairs if you don't have good skincare, so that's another reason to have good skincare. So there is another way to do it too, and that is Nair. So if you really don't like shaving, you can try this. I'm sure a lot of you know what Nair is. It's a hair removal product that you slather on your entire body, and then you just kind of stand in the bathroom naked for like 8 to 10 minutes, or however long it says on the bottle. And then your hair just kind of falls off in the shower. Basically, it burns the first few layers of your skin, so the hair just kind of falls off. I love Nair. I haven't shaved my body in years because of it. I just put some Nair on and it's done. A few years ago, they launched this kind of, at first it had mixed receptions, but when I went to look at the Amazon reviews for this presentation, it was a lot better. But it's a facial hair removal cream, because normally you're not supposed to use Nair on your face. Or you should not use body Nair on your face, ever. But this is a specialized cream designed to be used on your face. I used it and it kind of worked. Like, it wasn't as effective as, like, the body Nair, because I kind of played it safe, and I have thicker hair, so I usually need to leave the Nair on a little bit longer. Yeah, I mean, for shaving your body, Nair is great. Definitely, I would recommend it. This face cream, though, definitely is something that I wouldn't count on, because it did remove a lot of the hair from my face. It didn't get as much as I would get with, like, shaving or if I used body Nair. But when I went to put on my moisturizer after using this, it, like, burned. Like, it felt like it stuck my face in, like, a vat of acid. So it could have problems with other parts of your skincare routine, or if you really hate shaving, you could design your whole skincare routine around things that are compatible with this. But also, if you have sensitive skin, you probably shouldn't use this, because it does work by literally burning your skin off. But yeah, apparently this works for a lot of people, so it could definitely be worth a try. Okay, so now it's time for what you actually came here for. We could talk about makeup now. So, starting with the most basic stuff that you're going to put on before everything else is primer and foundation. Primer is a, like, layer that you use to protect your skin, and it helps other makeup stick to your skin better. Those with sensitive skin might want to use something called a poreless primer. It's supposedly like gives a more full coverage to protect your skin from makeup products that might trigger some kind of reaction. I've never used one, but apparently they work pretty well. And they're also apparently better at helping makeup stick to your skin, so it's just better primer. Foundation provides a base layer for the rest of your makeup. You could think of this kind of like a base coat you put on your canvas. How much you want to use is really up to you. It depends what exactly look you're going for. You might want to use very little or even none for a natural look, but if Asian and especially cosplay makeup styles, it's used pretty generously so that your face looks very like unrealistically smooth almost. And makeup, so yeah, it's also will cover up most freckles, and if you have like craters, it helps a lot with that. The other thing about foundation though is it can get pretty expensive. Usually when you're talking about cheap makeup, it's like $10 for whatever you're talking about, something in that range. But foundation tends to be a little more than that, like 15 to 20 for cheap stuff, but like good foundation can be like over $100. So you kind of have to figure out what you like to get. I tried getting a more expensive foundation recently, and it actually worked really well because I used a cheap NYX foundation for a really long time, and it was kind of cakey. So what I'm using now, even though it's a lot more expensive, it's actually a lot more useful because I don't need to use like a ton of it to get a better effect actually. So yeah, foundation is something you want to kind of play around with. Generally, it should be slightly lighter than your skin tone, but other than that, it's the same thing as with the skincare. Just figure out what works for you. So blending in brushes, this stuff is pretty simple. After you apply any makeup really, like foundation, you have to blend it with some kind of makeup sponge. Sponges are pretty much all the same, but you can get them at Ulta for $30 or the Dollar Tree for like $1. So there's really no reason to spend that much money on them. The only real difference I think I've ever noticed is longevity, but all of your sponges will get saturated and need to be thrown out sooner or later, so it doesn't really matter. I got this Fortnite banana sponge you could see at the bottom in the Walmart clearance section for $6. So in using one of these, you apply the makeup to your skin and then kind of dap it around your face to spread it around. You don't want to like wipe it across your face because that will smear your makeup. Sorry about that. You can also get brushes. Brushes are usually you want like one or two for specifically your blush and your eyeshadow, which we'll get to in a bit. All these different brushes on the right, you don't really need all these kinds of brushes. I just have a blush brush and a smaller eyeshadow brush and some more precise brushes for doing complex stuff. But you only really need like just buy them as you need them. Really, you don't need to like go and collect all the brushes. But yeah, there's not a whole lot to talk about with that. Just wash them too. Actually, wash your brushes. That'll make them last so much longer. Okay, so contour and highlighter and concealer. Contour and highlighter are visibly darker and brighter than your skin tone, respectively. These are used to shape your face and give the appearance of like snatched cheekbones that you'll see if you look at like models. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of that look, so I do mine a bit lower. to make the effect more subtle. There's a ton of different configurations of contour and highlighter that can imitate different bone structures, so I definitely recommend researching that more in depth if that's something you're interested in. What you're looking at here is like it's maybe a little bit outdated, but it's like a standard contour pattern for women in like modern fashion, and this will make your cheekbones appear more defined and feminine. And so they're used in conjunction, concealer and highlighter. I actually have a stick that is concealer on one side highlighter on one side and contour on the other. And I like using that because I always use them at the same time. Concealer is basically the same as highlighter. It's also a bit brighter than your foundation, but the only difference is really how you use it. And maybe you have like maybe your concealer is probably somewhere between your highlighter and your foundation. It's probably a little more accurate if you really want to get specific with it, but I kind of use them interchangeably. It's used to cover any like moles, craters if you're not using foundation, or if your foundation just isn't enough to cover, like I have a mole on my chin that I use a concealer on. So that's what concealer is for. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's in the name. This person, oh yeah, I wanted to touch on bronzer briefly because this person on the right is wearing a decent amount of bronzer, I think. And that's not really something I see or use all that often, since my background is a cosplay and drag, and I mean, I've seen people use it in drag, sure, but it's usually used to simulate or complement a tan, so it's not super common. But yeah, definitely I would recommend looking into more in-depth different contour and highlighters, because it's kind of different, or contour and highlighter configurations, because there's different ways to do it depending on the type of face you have. So yeah, blush and hiding stubble. This is actually something that's really useful if you have dark hair. Blush gives a more feminine appearance, but you should be careful not to overdo it since it's pretty easy to go overboard. You should blend it out high on your cheeks between your highlighter and your contour. Another interesting use of blush is that you can actually use it to kind of color correct stubble. If you have dark hair, it's something color theory. It will make your stubble harder to notice because of like the pink and red hues in contrast to like dark brown or like black. I've heard that you can get the same effect from putting pink or orange lipstick under your foundation layer, but it's not something I've tried personally, since I find the blush on top works really well for me. Like all of the pictures that you've seen have been just like blush and like a shave, so it completely gets rid of my like 5 o'clock shadow. So I haven't tried the orange pink lipstick thing. So eye makeup, eyeshadow. This is a pretty nebulous part. You can get creative with it. Just brush it on like the region above your eyelid. So you kind of just put it on your eyelid and like kind of towards your nose on the inside of your eye. You can see in the picture on the right. Using too much though can almost give you like a drag queen look, so that might be something to look out for. Generally, I choose 2 to 3 colors and blend them from the inside of my eye near my nose like out, so it'll get lighter or change color, gradient, whatever I'm feeling that day. The further away it gets from the inside of my eye. If you're not really sure where to start, you can try doing that. It's pretty easy. This is the shadow palette I use on the right. It's a pretty crunchy image. But it has 96 colors, which some may argue is excessive, but I say it's the only eyeshadow palette I've owned for 3 years, and it doesn't expire for another 3 years. And I've only run out of one color so far, so I've never needed to buy another eyeshadow palette. I would recommend, especially starting, that you get something that has a lot of different colors, so you're kind of open to experimenting with different things, as opposed to like there are a lot of palettes that most palettes just have like somewhere between like I want to say 4 and 10 colors, uh, which I think is kind of narrow to get if you want to like try a lot of different stuff. The other thing about eyeshadow is that since it comes in basically every color, you can technically use it as anything. Like eyeshadow can be used as a contour or a blush or even like concealer. It will just tend to not be as good at those jobs if you use it like that. So like I wouldn't use it in place of those things because you'll also run out of those colors really fast. But it'll save you at a pinch. Like I've run out of contour and used eyeshadow instead just to get me through whatever I'm doing. Mascara is also really easy and cheap. There's no reason really not to do it because it's one of the cheapest things you can get as far as makeup goes. It's only like $8, I think mine was. And you take the little brush out of the bottle and you like blink into it and it's done. It's super easy. So and it also will make your eyelashes a lot. It'll emphasize your eyelashes a lot, which is something that is considered pretty feminine. So if that's your goal, I definitely think you should get mascara. If you have dark circles under your eyes, like I do, you fix that with highlighter or concealer, or there's this product that Maybelline makes called like Age Rewind Eraser, and it's also pretty cheap. And I like this. I know some people don't like this because they think it's like cakey, but I haven't really had that problem. If you blend it out, you put setting powder on it, I think it works pretty well. So eyeliner. This is a skill-based makeup. Eyeliner pencils are probably where you should start because they're the easiest to use and also the cheapest. It's literally just like a colored pencil that you draw on your face with. It's they're good, but they can be really hard to get clean lines with, especially if you're doing like a thick makeup application. It tends to have like kind of gaps in it when you finish, and you might need to go over it like 2 or 3 times, which with eyeliner is not going over it 2 or 3 times and getting the exact same shape is kind of hard. Liquid liner is the best for thick eyeliner styles because it's basically a paintbrush. These are really hard to use. They have a pretty rough learning curve. So this probably isn't your first choice unless you want like 2008 goth girl levels of eyeliner. But I imagine some of you want exactly that. But even if you do want that, if you've never done makeup before, you should probably start with either a pencil or specifically a gel pen, or like I've heard these called markers, felt tips, whatever you want to call it. It's not a pencil. If it's not a pencil, it's not a liquid liner. It's probably some version of this. They're just markers pretty much. It's much easier to use. The pens are my favorite because they're easier to use than liquid liner and they can give cleaner lines than pencils. They actually last almost as long as pencils, as long as you're like don't let them dry out, like don't leave it out and like exposed to the air. I've had my current pen for like almost a year. It still works great. Eyeliner in general is really gonna make the rest of your makeup pop, and even though it's definitely the hardest part to get down, it tends to go even further in contour than for emphasizing like a feminine look and bringing out your eyes. So, and you can also still get really creative with it. You can see I have a diagram of a bunch of different eyeliner styles on the right. So eyebrows. Methods for cosplay eyebrows, which is what I do, are pretty out there. They're kind of whack. Since you need to recolor your eyebrows in really weird ways. Some common methods involve glue, tape, or shaving them off entirely, as I have done once, like in the bottom picture. That's lipstick on my eyebrows. As you might imagine, that stuff isn't really common for like everyday makeup, so I did do some extra research for this part. Generally, women have higher eyebrows than men, but this isn't really due to bone structure or anything like that. It's more that women tend to lift their eyebrows by shaping or plucking them on purpose. So what you should do is go and get it done professionally once so that you know what shape it should be, and then try to copy that in the future. Brow pencils are also a good thing to have if you're going to be doing that, because they can make the shape of your eyebrows appear more sharp and like cohesive, as opposed to kind of bushy and lacking definition. You should choose one that's close to your hair color, or maybe a bit darker if you're doing something dramatic with your eyeliner. Going too dark can make you look masculine or do like a drag look, or that's something that's used in drag a lot, so you should probably try to stay close to your hair color if you want to avoid that. Lipstick and stainer, this is pretty self-explanatory. It just makes your lips appear fuller, and generally that's a more feminine thing. There's also lip stainer, which is basically the same thing, but they tend to be less vibrant but longer lasting, so they'll actually stand up to like drinking water, which if you try to drink water with lipstick, you will no longer have lipstick. You'll just have water. But lip stainer is the alternative to that, which sticks to your lips a lot better and will but also tends to dry out your lips, so it's good to have like lip balm or something for that. So setting spray and powder are like almost the same thing. They're the last thing you do to lock in all of your makeup, so it'll keep it from running as you like sweat, eat, cry, whatever. Setting powder isn't quite as good at the same job, but it's a little different. It's also pretty messy. When you see like footage of this, like vintage footage of this with like the girl, it's like she's got like a powder brush and she's like doing all her makeup. Usually that's setting powder. Like I said, setting spray is a little bit better at the same thing, just keeping all of your makeup locked in. But it was also invented in 2004, whereas setting powder can be found in like ancient Egyptian tombs, so it's a bit of a holdover. You might also find that setting powder... Oh, wow, that's a lot of people. Damn, I'm about to finish this panel, and it's like... I'm about to finish a panel, and, like, welcome. Damn. Anyways, like I was saying... Setting spray is just kind of better at the same thing that setting powder is. Setting spray is just newer, like thousands of years newer. Setting powder, though, does have the added benefit of it can counter out what might look like cakey makeup. I like to use both because, like I said before, I recently switched my foundation to something less cakey. And before that, would use setting powder to balance out that cakiness at the end. So, but now that I'm not buying drugstore foundation, I probably don't really need to use it. Alright, so that is my panel. Thanks for coming. Welcome to all of the people that just showed up now. If you have questions, I can answer them. I'll be around to answer your question probably for like 10 minutes. And also thank you to Pride FGC for hosting this amazing event. I'm looking forward to playing in Uni 2 tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, the VOD will be up on my channel for a bit. I'll probably archive it to YouTube. But yes, it did just end. Oh no, no, no! I have to do the whole thing over. Oh no, oh no. Okay, here. See this. Okay, here we get the abridged version. Here, this is me. Okay, you got that. Reminders. Don't spend $2 million on makeup. Take care of your skin. Facial hair removal. Razors are the best. But you can kind of cheat by using facial hair removal skin. Or skin. What am I saying? Oh my god. It's cream. You put the cream on your skin and it burns it. There's facial Nair. Nair, I like Nair. Okay, primer and foundation. Primer, it protects your skin and it helps the other makeup stick to your skin. Foundation, it's like a base layer. It's just like your skin color. It makes your face smooth. The brushes, don't spend a lot of money on brushes. Wash your brushes, please. Please wash your brushes. Please wash your brushes. Also, there's a Fortnite sponge at the bottom there. So I got that at a Walmart clearance section for $6. This is how you change the, this is how you change this is how you change your skeleton structure in your face. You make it look different by optical illusions. I don't really know how it works, but I copy what people on the internet do, and it just works. It just works. Blush. This is actually something that's pretty cool. Is you can cancel out if you have like 5 o'clock shadow, you can cancel it out by using pink and orange hues with this is actually, yeah, it's another optical illusion. We love optical illusions. You can cancel out the pink and orange hue, or you can cancel out the like 5 o'clock shadow, the darker browns and blacks that come with having darker hair, and just put like blush or lipstick under your foundation layer, and that will like make it look like it's not there. That's pretty cool. Eye makeup. I really like palettes that are big like this. This is my palette. I love this palette. It's actually the only eyeshadow palette I have ever owned because they last a very long time. And I don't know how you could use that much eyeshadow if you tried. The Maybelline Age Rewind is good for getting rid of dark areas under your eyes. Eyeliner, this shit's hard. Just use a pencil or a pen. Liquid is hard, but it's how you do cool stuff. It's a paint. It's like a pencil is a pencil. A pen is a marker, and liquid is just a paintbrush. Eyebrows, don't do it. See, the bottom picture is when I shaved off my eyebrows. Don't do that. You don't need to shave off your eyebrows. Just get them done professionally and then copy that. Just get them done professionally once, take a picture of it, and then shave them yourself at home to like however you got it done. Lipstick, I think everyone knows what lipstick is. And then this is where we got rated. Setting spray and setting powder just exist to lock in the rest of your makeup. The setting spray is kind of objectively better at that job, but setting powder has been around for like 5 millennia, so it's still pretty popular. And setting spray was invented in 2004. I found out while I was doing research for this. And that is my panel. So now if anyone has questions from the abridged version, I will answer those as well. Yeah, no problem. I will keep the VOD up for the VOD will be up on my Twitch, and I will upload it to my YouTube channel, provided I remember to do that, which I probably will. Yeah, thank you for having me. Alright, yeah, so if nobody has any questions, I guess I'll go ahead and end the stream. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you for the raid and the fun speedrun of the same presentation. Yeah, thanks for having me. Oh, and thank you to everyone that came to the stream.